Aitzville, CM, not CA, Etchqualawan, Coanastila, Nala. I'd like to acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the lands of the Hulkamino speaking people, specifically the Quamitsun village. The Board of Education is honored to be able to collaboratively walk beside the Malahat, Cowichan, Sabasset, Halalt, Penelakut, Stamanis, Layaks, and peoples who have cared this land for thousands of years. May we walk gently on the unceded territories of their lands as we work together to lift up all the Hahas Manab. Motion to adopt the agenda, please, moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda, moved by Trustee Lise, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Thank you. Minutes for December 2nd, 2025, open board meeting, moved by Trustee Strachan, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Thank you. No recognitions or delegations. Mr. Sandquist, report of the closed meeting, please.
Thank you. The board met in closed session prior to this open. There were multiple personnel matters and lease agreements discussed. The business was concluded at that meeting and won't be going back into closed.
Thank you. Old business action list. So there's not easy. Only one on there.
Thank you. We've got a personnel information to share. 8.1.1
action list.
Sorry, action list.
Yeah, you're the only one on there. The Chemainus Crofton grade reconfiguration.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Chemainus Crofton grade reconfiguration. That's coming elsewhere in my report, but I'll share it here. Let board know we have coming up some sessions for consultation January 8th. So Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. On Thursday afternoon, we are going to be meeting with staff at Chemainus Elementary, Crofton Elementary, and Chemainus Secondary, and sharing information with them. We have 5 questions that have been formulated that we'll be seeking input and feedback on. And then later in the evening, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we have sessions taking place at Chemainus Elementary and Crofton Elementary. And staff will be present along with principals and vice principal for that session, collecting information as well. On the 8th of January, an open survey will be live on our website. So we will be collecting input between January 8th and January 23rd on the survey. Information has been sent to various partner groups through the Secretary of Treasurer's office and also through our Indigenous Education office, with just informing that we are underway through the process here. And the intention is for us to be able to collate all of the information that's received by January 23rd, to be able to bring this forward to the board during board planning in February, and to be able to present information and recommendations based on the consultation feedback to the board at the March 3rd board meeting.
Any questions? Hearing none, moving on. Superintendent, personnel.
Thank you. Next item that I have again is 8.1.1. I would like to just introduce and welcome Dominique McAllister. I'm pleased to introduce Dominique, who's sitting here behind me. So welcome, Dominique, who has assumed the role for Student Information Systems Manager. Dominique brings valuable experience in school operations, ministry of reporting, and has extensive knowledge of the My Education system, or My Education Student Information System. Most recently, Dominique has served as counseling clerk at Quamitsun School and has held various clerical roles throughout the district. And please welcome me in joining Dominique to her new role. So welcome. Welcome. Yeah. Thank you, Dominique. Okay. Next item here is 0.2.1, and Assistant Superintendent Rowan will be sharing the update on the operational plan.
Thanks, everyone. So we wanted to make sure we give regular updates to the board on our operational event. Jason's got on the screen to scroll through, but you all have a large copy that's much more readable.
And appreciated.
Claire, thank you for that. So basically, just as a reminder, I guess, or a recap, our operational plan is how we are taking the board's strategic plan, the district vessel, like the framework for enhancing student learning, and how we're making sure that we are operationalizing and meeting those goals as we go through the year. So the operational plan is divided into the board goals from the strategic plan, which are learning, Indigenous ways of knowing, individual and collective well-being, and care of place. Under learning, on your form there's lots of things, but my summary of that would be under learning in literacy, the K-3 teachers have all had 1 of 2 in-services completed. The kindergarten teachers actually have completed both 2 of 2 in-services, and the grades 1 to 3 will do the second in-service in the spring. Our priority learners, those with Indigenous ancestry, those with diverse needs, any students whose children in care. We've met with elementary lead teachers and secondary department heads. We've completed 1 of 3 of our scheduled meetings. The next ones will be in February and in April, where we're making sure that we're drawing attention to how we're supporting those students and helping them move forward in their learning. Our learning assistance teachers have been using Ames Web as a resource, and 10 schoolets are piloting the Read 180 program to help the literacy. In terms of numeracy, learning series are still being planned K-7 with our folks on K-7, and we're really pleased to have Del Morgan as a .2 working as the numeracy lead with her expertise. So she's been replaced at George Bonner, and she's working the district .2 or the equivalent of 1 day a week on numeracy. And you go to Indigenous ways of knowing next. Lots of work being done here. The cultural competency guide is being completed and posted to our website, so that is a lot for us. Our monthly nation check-ins, those again are well established and working well, checking with the nations each month. Really pleased the work in the Indigenous Education Council. Many of you were able to attend in December to have a meeting with that group. But it's meeting regularly, monthly functioning, and having lots of input onto the work that we're doing here in the district. The indicators of success, what are our red, yellow, green. Our vernacular for the red, yellow is red, yellow, green. The November collection was completed. The data is being analyzed throughout December and into January, and we're making sure that we're aware of how individual students are doing academically, social emotionally, and attendance wise, and working with schools to make sure that everyone has awareness and what interventions are taking place to make sure that we are improving our work with our Indigenous students. The other one that we've been working on for the last couple of years, and we're seeing some progress now, is the student life plans. Our goal this year is that all students will have a student life plan. All of our students with Indigenous ancestry or kids who've been in care will have a student life plan that will help not only themselves focus on their goals for the future, but also be used at schools to tap into motivation and knowing where the students see themselves. And those life plans, there's an elementary version and a little bit more sophisticated secondary version as kids get older.
Question for you, Mr. Rowan, Trustee Croft.
In case this isn't coming up, we've had some conversations about the importance of attendance. If that surfaced somewhere in this plan?
Thanks, Lucy. Yeah, definitely. The indicator of success, the red, yellow, green, one of the main columns there is attendance and tracking attendance. We've put a huge push on. Nicole Boucher is a district principal right now of sorry, I just changed titles. And she's done a lot of work with attendance, and she's following up with all of our schools, especially our secondary schools. Yeah, thanks for the question. The last highlight I'll say from Indigenous Ways of Knowing is through the Indigenous Education Council and this board, we have done lots of work. Started last year, but communicating grad requirements for our nations. And the first session is scheduled for next week at Cowichan Tribes, with further ones to come at Penelican and Malahad also are very interested. And that's where parents, again, is trying to have a chance to explain the grad program and also the different services we have in the school district for parents. Under individual and collective well-being, this year we do have a focus on substance use district-wide. The resource that we are focusing on is open parachutes, and there was training for all staff in November at the non-instructional day. That is well received. In elementary, we've completed one of 4 sessions for reps from each school to come into the end to have further talk with open parachute, and that's being completed, one of 4 sessions so far. And our PHE teachers have also been brought in. We worked PHE teachers in November. NID, I mean, in acronyms here. We have AEDs are now present in all schools, in all our high schools. There was a delay in the order, so we hoped to have them in all schools, but there was a delay in the shipping order, so they're in all of our high schools.
So they showed up yesterday afternoon. Sue's picking up this morning. So all the boxes are out. They went out this afternoon. First thing to them.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah. And we have naloxone kits. Naloxone kits are in all of our sites. So the site has naloxone kits. We're offering training to all staff, and we're tracking that. The training is very straightforward because the ADs are automated and the naloxone is very straightforward. The training is just videos that are between 1 and 5 minutes long that all staff will complete. Okay. Our mental health plans for all schools. The surveys have been developed and those will launch in the spring. And our children who care, the framework is complete. We're getting partner feedback and the circle of care is being established in all of our schools. Under care of place, the 4th goal from the board strategic plan, the Climate Action Committee has now met twice, and we have our climate action grants were applied for and awarded. So those will be, it was great. We had a great suggestion from the group, very active with the students in this group. So some students came in and myself and a students group evaluated all the applications and awarded the grant. So that was great to have student involvement in that. So those will be going out, those are out at the schools, and those will be due in May for climate action grants. The other part under care of place, Nicole Boucher again is leading this work, but we're doing lots of land-based learning. So Quamchin has a very active program going on. Cowichan Secondary, there's some work on land-based learning there. And it's tying in somewhat to the Friendship Center program that we have going there as well.
Trustees, questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Rowan. Superintendent, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Update there. Kindergarten registration information. Cowichan Valley looks forward to welcoming new kindergarten students for 2026-2027 school year. Any child who will be 5 years of age on or before December 31st, 2026, may register at their catchment school or for the district program for French immersion, and the registration process will be similar to last year. As reported at the December board meeting, kindergarten registrations for 2026-27 will take place on the following weeks. So French immersion schools, registration will take place at the French immersion schools during the regular office hours the week of January 19th to 23rd, 2026, or online, and will follow the lottery system described below. So the catchment school registration will take place at catchment schools during the regular office hours the weeks of January 26th through January 30th, 2026, or online. Kindergarten registrations will be accepted from families living within a school's catchment area. So any family wishing to register their child in a different school may apply by submitting an out of catchment form available at the catchment school. And as per Administrative Procedure 301, first preference for registration will be given to those children who reside in the school catchment and in alignment with Bill 40. If requested, spaces for French immersion elementary schools are oversubscribed. Placement will be determined by the district supervised lottery. The lottery for the district programs, should there be a need to have one, will take place on January 23rd, 2026. And any informational Zoom sessions for incoming kindergarten families will be held at 7:00 p.m. January 14th, and an additional Zoom session for families with children with inclusive learning needs will be held January 21st at 7 p.m. So there's a lot happening in terms of registrations coming up here. Next item, graduation and year-end events for 2026. On page 21 of your agenda package, a list of graduation and year-end events. And a note that the date for the long service tea is March 12th and district retirement celebration is June 8th. Timeline for Chemainus Crofton public consultations. I've already shared that information with you. And again, we're looking at January 8th, this Thursday, coming up for the launch of the consultation process. Next item here, just updates from the superintendent, acknowledgements and appreciation. I'd like to acknowledge the staff members who worked while others were off during the 2 weeks of winter break, including payroll, finance, human resources, purchasing and receiving, technology services, operations and transportation, as well as clerical, custodial, grounds and trades. Members who work to prepare schools and classrooms for the return of students and teachers in January. So great appreciation for all of that work. And I also want to take a moment to acknowledge staff who were involved in the cleanup efforts at Coheman Elementary following a vandalism that occurred after a fire extinguisher was discharged in the school gym that had been set up for the winter concert. Custodial staff primarily consisted of Murad Khan and Joanne Parks, and was supported by Vicki Miller. These staff members attended to the matter and cleaned without hesitation in such a timely way that the school and their show were not affected. The principal of the school and staff were extremely grateful for the quick response and extra efforts put into making the gym operational again for the winter concert to proceed and ensuring the school felt safe, secure, and clean. And so we recognize, again, Murad, Joanne, and Vicki for their dedication to their jobs and for the service they provide to the school district staff and students. So hi, SEPCA, and thank you to all for their efforts in getting things cleaned up and ready in time for Coheman. We greatly appreciate it. Maple Bay Elementary, we've got some photos coming up here. So they're learning to code using spheros. Students at Maple Bay Elementary have loved learning to code using spheros. These mini robots make learning programming so much more fun. Students have the opportunity to engage in critical and creative thinking, as well as exercise perseverance and problem solving. So very nice to see that happening. Next photo here is international student programs and donation to food banks. So sharing a photo of two of our international students, Sophie from Switzerland and Yaya from Japan, and the Stop the Truck. And the ISB students through Social Responsibility Group donated a pallet of $500 donation to the food banks. So again, congratulations and thank you to them. Next photo here is Chemainus Elementary. They have a few photos, learning debate skills, the learning debate skills, pack, movie night, making graphic cars, undercover week, holiday sing-along, and making pencil boxes in the photos. So we're sharing some photos of December activities at Chemainus Elementary. Chemainus Elementary students in grade 5 and 6 learned important debate skills as they examined the issues surrounding John A. Macdonald statue, and powerful experience was had by the students as they filled the debate with great arguments. Chemainus PAC hosted a holiday movie night, complete with an opportunity to take photos with Santa. Fun was had by all, and no names were found to be on the naughty list. So congratulations to those students. Students were busy making cars for their Gravity Cars trials in December. They had a great build and also learned some new skills and safety measures. As well, school staff had fun confusing students during their secret undercover week. Each day staff showed up in a different themed outfit to see if the students would notice, and some did. There was all black day, concert t-shirt day, Canadian tuxedo day, and jersey day. And they also had a pattern day, but they forgot the photo. Chemainus Elementary also held a holiday sing-along for their monthly assembly. December's theme was goal setting and problem solving, and the staff and students really enjoyed it and asked to do it again next year. And finally, Chandler Murray is making pencil boxes with students at Chemainus Elementary primary students. The students loved working with the tools and standing on their projects here. So congratulations to them. Next set of photos here. Students from Alex Aiken who are exploring Hour of Code celebrations from around the world. So they're sharing some photos from Alex Aiken Elementary, Hours of Code. Alex Aiken Elementary students also explored how the festive season is celebrated around the world, engaging in rich cultural learning experiences, and engaged in conversations and discussions and activities in the following celebrations. So Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and Feliz Navidad, and winter solstice. And very nice to see the diversity within their learning there. The highlight of the season was their own winter concert called Dear Santa. And in the end, it's a little girl that reminds everyone that the true meaning of the season is generosity, giving without expecting anything in return. So again, a great lesson for the students at Alex Aiken. Alexander Elementary, an update here on December 10th. Alexander Elementary students gathered in the school gymnasium for school-wide turkey lunch. Close to 300 students and staff enjoyed a meal together to celebrate the season. Several retired staff returned to the school to assist with the event. So congratulations to them. Further notice here, just semester change. Semester 1 will end on January 23rd. And semester 2 starts on January 2026. So coming up soon here for our students and staff. Other notices, provincial assessments, the winter grade 10 and 12 provincial literacy and numeracy assessment dates are January 12th to the 30th, 2026. Spring dates for assessments are April 20th to 24th. Also, we have notice of approval of a research study. So Amelia Wilson and Dylan Jessamine, occupational science and occupational therapy students at the University of Toronto, have received approval to conduct their research project titled What Are Teachers' Perspectives of Providing Accommodations for Children at School? So the purpose of this research is to describe what academic supports teachers are being asked to provide in the classroom to students, and to the degree to which they are feasible to implement. As occupational therapists, they're often tasked with providing recommendations for academic accommodations in the school setting, understanding that whether these accommodations are feasible for teachers to provide is crucial. So this is important work that our district will be partaking in. And the study will involve online surveys administered to Canadian educators who teach or support students in grades 9 through 12 across Canada. Further information, Black Excellence Day, January 15th is Black Excellence Day. This day is an opportunity to celebrate the many contributions of Black people in our communities and throughout the province, and to learn more about Black role models in history and those who are actively making a difference today. Again, January 15th is in honor of the great civil rights leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was born on January 15th, 1929. Coming up close to the end here, Family Literacy Day, January 27th, and Family Literacy Week, which is January 25th to February 1st. A Family Literacy Day, founded by ABC Life Literacy Canada, takes place every January 27th to raise awareness about the importance of reading and engaging in other literacy-related activities as a family. In BC, we celebrate Family Literacy Week, which is January 25th to February 1st, as I indicated. The theme for Family Literacy Day and Family Literacy Week is making mealtime family learning time. And preparing for mealtime is fun. It's a fun way for families to learn together, whether it's following recipes, making shopping lists, or sharing stories at the dinner table. Make your family mealtime learning time. So an important week coming up for all. School visits. Since the last board meeting, I was able to attend Lake Cowichan Secondary School, Francis Kelsey Secondary School for a second visit, Cowichan Secondary School for a second visit, Quamachin School, and CVAS. So very grateful to be in the classrooms with our students and staff, and seeing what's happening across our district. And that wraps it up for me at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent. Board action, Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. Just before the break, the recalculated grant for 2025-2026 arrived. I think it was Thursday. We had a chance to look at it in detail and compare it to our estimate. So as we know, the funding that we get announced in March is an estimate based on the number of students and a number of other factors that the board projects for the September. And on September 30th, the students are counted and then applied into the formula. So we were very close. We were within $9,000 on 102 million, which is like 0.009% or something. We were really close. So the last estimate was the most accurate that we brought to the board. So having applied that, it is still different than what was originally projected in March. So it is up by $342,000 over what was projected in March. The differences are there, predominantly based on significant growth in level 2 special needs. And I'm going to, on the next sheet here, I'm going to show you sort of what's happening provincially.
Any questions for Mr. Sanders before I move on? Go
Um,
ahead, Trustee Lizzie.
Just a comment, like, holy cow, that's wild. Good job.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't remember in all of the times that I have sat in finance table with you, Mr. Sanquist. You've done it that closely, so well done. You and your team.
So, provincial perspective, this is the first year in 11 years, since in 11 years that, apart from the pandemic, that there's been a decline in overall student population in the province of BC. So, the pattern in Cowichan Valley is not different than that of the province. The inclusive ed numbers, though, even though there's declining enrollment in the province, our level 2s are up by 3,208 students. So, you know, where we saw our numbers go up by 59 from projected, that's provincial trend. Some other things to note, 42 of 60 school districts see an increase in their grants this year over last year. What's not in the grant is anything related to potential job labor settlements. So those have not been budgeted for this year, and funding has not been received for those this year. So this pretty much as expected. Moving on, we took that grant revenue and began to create a balanced budget that we'll bring to the board to the BEBC Board of Education Business Committee at the end of this month for recommendation for adoption in February. So there'll be some slight changes. The board would remember having approved an additional 12 education assistants. There's wage variations with teachers as we reconcile who's actually hired, and a number of other factors that are currently going through our testing. And one of the ways we test is we do a year-end projection off that budget to see if we're tracking as expected. So looking at revenues overall, we are tracking to be about $126,000 to the good, $127,000 to the good. A little higher on rentals, miscellaneous revenue. Most of that relates to ISP registration fees, International Student Program. We're at target on International Student Program tuition, just a little bit over. And then to the transportation fees that you see there are the fees that are paid to the out of province students, international students. On salaries, really some pretty close budgets here right now with what's in the budget. Principals, $7,000 to the good. Teachers, $79,000 over. We'll see that adjust itself down as we have people leave or go on medical leaves and be replaced with less expensive teachers who are newer. So we often see our average teacher salary decline, those costs decline as we move out towards the end of the year. So I'm not expecting that to be over budget when we hit the end of the year. Education assistants, and there's still contingencies in there. There's still some staff that haven't been allocated on the teacher staff for second semester. That's accounted for. So if we were to take those out, there would actually be a surplus there. And it's the same with education assistants. There's a hole back there, I think, of additional 3 FTE that actually creates 6 positions when they go in at this time of the year, half the year. So I know those are being considered for implementation soon too. USW, we'll see some of that get drawn down when our staff do a lot of capital work in the summer and then do a lot of maintenance work in the winter. And so they end up in 2 different pots, and we'll see more expenses coming into the USW, I think, as we move through the winter months. Excluded are really close. The one I'm pleased to show you here as of November 30th is where we're at with casual replacements for illness and vacation. Right now, that's tracking at $373,000 below budget. That's hopefully a new trend or a wellness trend. We saw those numbers go way up post-COVID for a couple of years, and they're now starting to return to more normal levels. So that may be an area to look at in next year's budget as we're preparing the 2026-2027. We can't do much with employee benefits because a lot of people have fully paid their stats. Hard to project those until we get a good payroll in January, and then we'll start to bring those into the projections. The same as services and supplies. We're just assuming at this point they're fully expended because this projection was prepared only 3 months in. Utilities were looking reasonable, and we are experiencing some warmer than normal months right now. So hopefully that trend will continue. We've had no snow clearing, which is often a large expense for the board either so far. So overall,
I was just gonna say that.
Overall, right now,
You heard that right here.
on the balanced budget that we have here, that we'll be fine tuning and bringing to the board in the next couple of weeks with much more detail. We see $520,000 to the good on wages, predominantly driven by the under expenditure currently on leave replacements. Combine that with the revenues that we're over budget on, to the good, again, to the good, projecting about $647,000 for just 3 months in, but that's only 30% of the year. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, our projections get more accurate, but it's proving that the budget is tracking as expected.
Any questions for Mr. Sundquist? Hearing none. Okay.
The next item is how the budget timeline will roll out, taking into consideration stats and trustee functions, with the goal of achieving a balanced budget for the first board meeting in May, or for the May board meeting. So it's all laid out there, consistent with prior years' experiences of doing the liaison meetings, much earlier in the cycle. And there it is. We'll mark your calendars.
Mr. Sandquist, why don't I see our meeting with DSEC? Isn't it the January DSEC meeting that we all set together, or is it the February
And
DSEC?
then we'll go to the February, but it'll be the February DSAC is this week and we'll be on the February agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? Trustee Lizzie?
I'm just, I'm assuming that we'll have dates we have dates, but times for those liaison meetings.
We're lucky.
Now that's been received by the board for information, we'll start to reach out to the partner groups and that's all I have for my report today. It's all for information.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sandquist, Superintendent, Indigenous Education Council.
An update on the December, so it was December 3rd. Ultimately, on the Student Education Council meeting. Summary here, there were 4 of 7 nations, voting nations represented, plus 1 non-voting member representation there. Meeting was opened by Mary Peter, District Principal for Indigenous Education. There was a presentation by the different Indigenous Education Department staff, Mar Kapfleisch, Elder Barb Jimmy, and Kirby Edwards, who spoke about programming at Humana Secondary and Lake Cowichan School. Roxton and Harris had shared that the elders had granted permission for the council to use the Snawit within its terms of reference. So that is important information, and again, permission granted by the Elders Council. Bryce Bingado is representative of the Malahat First Nation, spoke to district staff about career pathway sessions for parents. So this has been shared by Assistant Superintendent Rowan. These are underway, and again, great interest by various nations to see that work happening. Also, the representative for the Malahat First Nation spoke with district staff about restored practices and just exchange of information around practices that are happening across the district, and also those of traditional Indigenous ways. Secretary Treasurer spoke about options for unspent dollars for the Student and Family Affordability Fund. So that information was shared in exchange of ideas with the Indigenous Education Council. Secretary Treasurer also invited representation from the Education Council to sit on the District Advisory Committee and the District Climate Action Committee as well. Assistant Superintendent Rowan provided update on the operational plan, and District Principal to Indigenous Education, Mary Peter, shared of her experience at the World Indigenous Peoples Education Conference. Secretary Treasurer Jason Sandquist also extended invitation to council representatives to attend the Vancouver Island Trustees Association, or VISTA, Spring Conference in the Cowichan Valley. Nicole Boucher, District Principal for Priority Learners, sought feedback from the council members on the draft Child and Youth Framework that was presented last month. And Secretary Treasurer also spoke to the board motion regarding the public consultation process for the Humana Secondary and Crofton and Humana Elementary Schools, just to provide that information. And Secretary Treasurer also provided updates to the council on the City of Duncan's Boil Water Advisory, which actually just happened to be taking place that day. So we provided updates as well. Next meeting is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. And Mary Peter, District Principal to Indigenous Education, closed the meeting. And just a side note, I'd like to thank trustees that were able to attend and have lunch with the council at the council's invitation. So thank you to you as well.
Thank you, Superintendent, and thank you, Trustee Sousa, for making that request, because I think it was really successful having us there and having those conversations. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, any questions for the superintendent before we move on? All right. No. Committees and outside organizations? Steve Lisi, you lucky for you. I think there's anything missing from there. Anybody see anything missing? Nope. No correspondence, no new business, question period. If anybody from the gallery submitted a question for tonight's meeting. Have nobody online, so. Welcome back to a new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Trustee Souza, second by Trustee Doman. All those in favor. Thank you very much, everybody. Safe travel home.